Dear students, in this video let us discuss one more concept called time series analysis. One of the most important challenges before every person is to make estimates for the future, particularly for business managers and economists. They wanted to predict the future, so such prediction will help them to plan for the days ahead. It is evident that future depends upon the past. In the process of estimating for the future, gathering information from the past is the first step. So, what is time series? Time series is a series of data points indexed or listed or graphed in a chronological order. When the data is presented in a chronological order, it is called as time series. For example, profit of a company is shown for 5 years. So this 5 years profit data of a company is called as time series. So then let us proceed. What is time series analysis? Time series analysis is a technique that can be applied for the study of behavior of any phenomenon collected chronologically over a period of time for the purpose of prediction in future in any discipline relating to natural and social sciences. So time series analysis is one of the techniques which is applied for study of the behavior of any phenomenon. For example, you have a price data of Sensex for 10 years. So with the help of this, we can find out whether the stock market is as a moved towards upward or downward. So this is called as a time series analysis. With the help of this data, we can predict the future movement of the future price of the Sensex or future movement of the Sensex. Okay, now let us move on to discuss the definition. According to Yalu Cha, a time series may be defined as a collection of reading belongs to different time periods of some economic variable or composite of variables. Again, so according to the definition, it says that it is the reading belongs to the different time period. It is a collection of readings belongs to different time period, and that means it is the data of few years, different time periods. According to Maurice Hamburg, a time series is a set of statistical observations arranged in a chronological order. So time series is a set of statistical observations or statistical numbers or a few numbers arranged in a chronological order. For example, population size of a country for the past 10 years. So these numbers will tell you about the population size of the country. So this, and they are written in a chronological order. Therefore, it is called as time series. Now let us move on to discuss the uses of time series analysis. First one, it helps to understand the past behavior of the data. So history repeats itself. Okay, this time series data is based on the assumption that history repeats itself. So it will help you to study the past behavior, and with that you can find out, or it is possible for us to predict the future behavior of that data. It helps us to estimate future values, which is used for planning. As I mentioned earlier, so you can predict the future, or you can estimate or you can find out the future value with the help of past prices or with the help of past data, so which is used for planning. It helps in evaluating the current performance. Okay, so with the help of past data, for example, the profit of a net profit of an organization for the past 10 years is given. Okay, with the help of this, you can find out whether the profit has improved in this year or not. So this is one of the uses of time series data. It facilitates comparison. Okay, so with the help of past data, you can compare the future performance, or you can compare the current performance. Okay, this is again one of the uses of time series analysis. Now let us discuss the components of time series. So there are four important types of or components of time series. In that, the first one is secular trend. Secular trend is the one which runs for many years. So this is called as secular trend. And one more is seasonal. It's very seasonal in nature, therefore it is called as seasonal trend. And one more is cyclical trend. So the last one is irregular or random variation. The first one is secular trend. Secular trend generally is the general tendency of the time series data to increase or decrease or to remain constant during a long period is called as secular trend. So this is, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very long-term trend. So some of the example for this is examples. One is increase in prices of gold in the past many years is an upward trend. So this is an example for a secular trend. Another one, decrease in death rates in the past many years is a downward trend. So this is an example for a secular trend. So next one is a seasonal trend. The regular, periodic and short-term variations in a time series is called as seasonal variation. I'll repeat, the regular, periodic and short-term variation in a time series is called as seasonal variation. Generally, the period of seasonal variation would be within 1 year. So seasonal variation is predictable. This can be predicted. Some of the examples for this, first one, umbrellas are sold more in rainy season. So for this, this is an example for that. Then in winter season, sale of woolen clothes will increase. So these are the examples for seasonal trend, and the factors causing for seasonal variations are climate or weather conditions, customs, traditions and habits of the people. Now let us move on to discuss the cyclical trend. Cyclical trend is another trend, or it is also called as business cycles. So most economic and business time series are influenced by the wave like changes of prosperity and depression. There is periodic up and down movements. So this movement is called as cyclical variation or oscillator variation. So as far as the business cycles are concerned, as you all studied, there are four cycles: prosperity, decline, depression and improvement, or it is also called as recovery. One more, the last one is irregular or random variation. Irregular variation or random variation, or it is also called as erratic variation. It is the irregular movement of the data over a period of time. It is the irregular movement of the data over a period of time. These variations are not regular. These are sudden, unexpected variations. Normally, these are caused by war, which is unexpected, floods, strikes, lockouts, earthquakes, etc. For example for this is sudden increase in death rate of locality due to earthquake or a kind of tsunami. Second example, sudden increase in the prices of vegetables due to Bandh or curfew. Now let To discuss the methods of calculation of trend. There are four important methods. First one is graphic or freehand curve fitting method. Second one is semi-average method. Third one is moving average method. And last one is method of least square. Now let us discuss one by one. The first one is graphic method. So it is the simplest and most flexible method of estimating the secular trend. It's a very simple and most flexible method. So what we do here, this method consists of plotting the point of values of time series on a graph paper and then drawing a freehand smooth curve through these points. The curve so obtained reveals the long-term tendency of the data. For example, the profit of a company for 10 years is given. Okay, you put it in a graph sheet. So for in front of each year, for example, in the x-axis you show the year and in the y-axis you show the profit. So in the x-axis in front of the first year, you show the data profit. You plot the point or you put the dot on in front of the year 2000, for example 10, the first year, and the profit is shown. So that they are plotted like this. So then they are connected with the line free, you use your free hand for drawing the curve, so that you obtain a graph, and that curve can be taken as, or that curve obtained reveals the long-term tendency of the data. This is called as graphic method. Second one is semi-average method. So in this method, the whole set of time series data is divided into equal parts. For example, if the data of 10 years is given, then first 5 years is one set of data, and the second half 5 years, second part, the second 5 parts is second set of data. So for example, if we given the time series data for 10 years, say for example 2010 to 2019, then two equal parts will be the period from 2010 to 2014, one part, so 5 years. Then period from 2015 to 2019, another part. So that is again, how many years are they? 5 years. Okay, then if odd number of years are given, then it's very simple. The years are divided in two parts by omitting the middle year. Okay, for example, if we have the data from 2009 to 2019, so then you have to leave one data, that is 2014 you have to leave. So first set of data is from 2009 to 2013, and the next set of data from 2015 to 2019. This is how we can do this calculation. Then after dividing the time series data into two parts, find out the arithmetic mean of two parts separately, and these are called as semi-averages. So after dividing the whole year into two parts, the whole period into two parts, then you have to find out the average for the first set of data and second set of data, and these data are called as semi-averages. Then plot these semi-averages as points against the respective middle years of each part, and join these points gives the linear curve showing the trend of the given data. Then after you get the averages, okay, the first 5 years, so middle of them is like the third year. So plot this semi-average to show the middle of this first set of 5 years, and for the second set of 5 years, again the third year becomes the middle year. So in front of that you put it in the graph, so that, and after that you connect these two curves, so that shows the trend. So this is how we can find out the trend under semi-average method. Is equal to 64,666.67. Similarly, second year, next total 1,66,000 divided by 3. So we did it similarly for the remaining years. This is how we can find out the 3 yearly moving averages. Let's discuss 4 yearly moving averages. So for the same data. So in this again we have data for 10 years. Find out 4 years moving averages. How do you do that? Leave the first year. We'll start from second year. Okay, so now we have to, instead of taking 3 years total, we have to take 4 years total. 86,000 plus 63,000 plus 45,000 comes to 2,52,000. Okay, so similarly we have to do it for next, but here in the next step we have to take up the total of 4 years moving average total of two to 4 yearly moving totals. I'll repeat, in this step we have to take up the sum of two items of previous columns. For example, 2,52,000 plus 2,09,000 is equal to 4,61,000, but remember it has to be written in front of 2,52,000 only. Then 2,09,000 plus 2,03,000 is equal to 4,12,000. Next, 2,03,000 plus 2,56,000 is equal to 4,59,000. So this is one more step supposed to be there. So in case of 4 yearly moving average is 4 or 6 or something like that. Okay, now in the last step we have to divide this third column total by 8. Okay, 4,61,000 divided by 8, so that we get the trend values. Then we'll move on to calculate the 5 yearly moving averages. This is similar to 3 years moving average, but here as far as calculating the total is concerned, taking the total is concerned, we have to leave the first 2 years, because the middle year of the 5 years is like third year, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So we have to start from third year. So we have to take the total of 5 years. 86,000 plus 63,000 plus 45,000 plus 58,000 plus 43,000 comes to 2,95,000. Then for the next total, leave the first year. 63,000, 45,000, 58,000, 43,000, 57,000. Total comes to 2,66,000. Similarly, you have to do it for the remaining. Okay, then divided by these 5 yearly moving totals supposed to be divided by 5, so that this you get the trend values. Then the last method is the method of least square. So by least square means the sum of squares deviation of actual values from estimated value is called as least square. I'll repeat, the total of squares of deviation from of actual values from the estimated values. You have an actual value and you have an estimated value. When you square them, okay, sum of the squares of these deviations is called as least square. Okay, so this is a mathematical method, and with the help of this, a trend line is fitted to the data in such a manner that the following two conditions are satisfied. So with the help of this mathematical method, you can fit a trend line. So this trend line will satisfy these two conditions. They are, the first one, summation y minus yc is equal to 0. That means where y is equal to the actual value of y and yc is the computed value. Okay, as I mentioned earlier in the first line, least square is the sum of squares of deviations of actual value. So here actual value is y from the estimated value, which is yc. Second condition, summation of y minus yc square is equal to is the least, summation y minus yc square is the least. So the method of least square may be used to fit a straight line or a parabolic trend, but in our syllabus we have only a straight line trend. So now let us move on to discuss straight line trend. A straight line trend is represented by the following equation: yc is equal to a plus bx. This is similar to the regression equation. Yc is equal to a plus bx. So we know what are they. So yc is the trend value, x is the time period. For example, 2019, 2080 is called as time period, and a and b are the constants here. Okay, then the constants a and b can be obtained by solving the following equations. So summation y is equal to na plus b into x, summation x is the first equation. Then second equation, summation xy is equal to a into summation x plus b is summation x square. when x, that is time period, is taken as a deviation from mid time period. So therefore in that case you get summation x is equal to 0. Okay, so therefore then the equation 1 becomes a is equal to summation y divided by n, and equation 2 we get b is equal to summation xy divided by summation x square. I'll repeat. So since we are taking x as a deviation from the time period, for example if there are 5 years, the third year we'll take it from third year. So third year minus third year is equal to 0. So previously we have minus 2 and minus 1, and after this third year we had plus 1 and plus 2. So when we add them up, summation of x becomes 0. So summation 1 x, when it becomes 0, the first equation, just go back to the first equation. So this becomes summation y is equal to na plus b into 0. So therefore we get a is equal to summation y divided by n. In the second equation, when we take summation x as 0, okay, summation xy is equal to a into 0 plus b into summation x square. So therefore b is equal to summation xy divided by summation x square. Now there is a problem. For the following time series, fit a trend line by method of least square and estimate the sales for the year 2010. So we have the data. We'll move on to discuss the solution. The straight line we are going to use here is yc is equal to a plus bx. Now the data we have for these many years from 1980, 85, 90, 95, 2000 and 2005. So sales data is given. Okay, now a is equal to summation y divided by n. So you need the total of sales column, so which has to be divided by n. So summation y is equal to 108 divided by n. So we get this. So since n number of observations are 6, 108 divided by 6 is equal to, we get the value 18. This is we got the a. Now let us move on to calculate b. So b is equal to summation xy divided by summation x square. So we need two more information, summation xy and summation x square. Okay, the x we'll take up now. So we have taken the deviation from middle of the year. So since we have 6 years here, so in case of this the middle years are 1990 and 1995. So in between it comes. So first, second, third. First year 80, second year 85, third year 90, fourth year 95. So it comes in between third and fourth year. So 3.5 years. So when you deduct 3.5 years from, sorry, when you deduct 3 from, see, the first year is 80, second year is 85, third year is 90. So middle year is which one? 3.5. 3.5. Okay, 3 minus, I'm telling about for year 1990. So 1990 is the third year. Okay, now x minus x bar. So here or x minus assumed mean, you can take it like that. Okay, so third year minus 3.5. The answer is minus 0.5. Okay, now for 1985 second year, 2 minus 3.5. So the answer is minus 1.5. Okay, first year 1 minus 3.5. So becomes 2 minus 2.5. Similarly for year 1995, here it becomes 4. 4 minus 3.5, 0.5. Next 5 minus 3.5, 1.5. And last year, sixth year, 6 minus 3.5. The answer is 2.5. So now you have to find out the x square. So this is the x square, and find out the sum of the next one xy. Find out x into x column is already there, 2.5 minus 2.5, and the y column is sales. So 16. Answer is minus 40. Similarly for the remaining years. Then find out the total summation x as per the condition. Summation x should be 0, fulfilled here. Then x square, summation x is equal to, sorry, summation x square, it should be 17.5. Then summation xy is equal to 8. Then let us move on to calculate b. It is 8 divided by 17.5. The answer is 0.4571. Then the trend equation we obtained is with the help of alpha A and B, we can find out the trend equation. YC is equal to 18 plus 0.4571x. So now the data again I have shown here. You can find out the trend values. Okay, for 1980, 18 plus 0.4571 into minus 2.5. X of 1980 is minus 2.5. The answer trend value becomes 16.85. Next, second year, 1985 is equal to 18 plus 0.4571 into minus 1.5. This is the X value of second year, that is 1985. So similar we can do it for the other 4 years, so that we get the trend values like this. First year 16.86, it is already shown the calculation here. Then second year 17.32, next 17.77, similarly for the remaining years. Okay, then we can predict the price or production, sales for 2010. It comes like this. So we can use the equation. So YC, so C here it is for 2010 is equal to 18 plus 0.4571 into 3.5. Why it is 3.5? Okay, 2005 is 2.5. Then the next year supposed to come here is 2010, because the gap between 2 years is like 5 years. After 2005, the next year comes in the year column is 2010. So therefore, if it is 2.5 for 2005, definitely for the next year it should be 3.5 for the next 2000 year, or for the next year in the year column. Just observe the year column. So 2005 it is 2.5, 2010 it should be 3.5. So that I have taken here as X. So the answer is 19.59985. Fifth year is 15, sixth year 16, and seventh year is 17. So we have to take the deviation from the middle year. So middle year is 2014, or the fourth year. So fourth year minus 4 is equal to 0. Previous year 2013, 3 minus 4 minus 1. 2012, 2 minus 4 minus 2. And the previous year 2011, 5 minus 1 minus 4 is equal to minus 3. Similarly for 2015, 4 minus 3. Next 2016, 5 minus 3. Next next one is last year, seventh year, 7 minus, okay, so here middle year is 4, sorry, did a mistake. Middle year is 4, so last year 7 minus 4 is equal to 3. The previous one 2016, I'll repeat again, 6 minus 4 is equal to 2, and previously it is 5 minus 4. Okay, then you'll get the values alpha A and B 0.75. Okay, so we can show the trend value. We can find out the trend values with this equation. So 13 plus 0.75 minus 3 here. For the first year, I have taken the X value of 2011. It is minus 3. So the answer is 10.75, and it is shown in the trend value column. And similarly for 2012, the trend value is 11.5, and calculation is shown here. Okay, so that we can estimate the production for the 2020. Okay, now if you put this 2020 in the year column, see, in between 17, after that 18, 19, 20. So you have to add 3 more years. So therefore what will be the X? So X will be 6. Look at here, X will be 6. So 17 admele 18, 19, 20. So 3 more years. You have to add 3 to the X of 2017. X of 2017 is how much? 3.